Hey everyone, so Bernie Sanders wrote a piece yesterday, and in it he repeats the same old drivel about the top 0.1% owning as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Now, wealth inequality may bother someone who is easily filled with envy or jealousy, but to anyone else, they should not care about wealth inequality outside of a few exceptions, namely people who obtain their wealth by lobbying the government to wield the threat of violence against their competitors. That wealth would be ill-gotten. But besides that, why should you not care about wealth inequality in and of itself? Well, it comes down to one thing Bernie Sanders seems to not understand, and that is that the economy is not a zero-sum game. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that if I create a business, and after a great deal of time, energy, and investment, my business manages to become widely known, and let's say millions of people give me money for the product I am offering, that's how good it is, then I get rich from that. That is true. I will become extremely rich because I had a vision, I had an idea, I exposed myself to a lot of risk, and it happened to pay off. Now, are the millions of people that bought my product worse off now because I am rich? The answer should be obvious. Are we all worse off because Steve Jobs was rich? Or Bill Gates is rich? Are we all worse off because Garrett Camp, the founder of Uber, has a net worth of $4.8 billion? Or did he begin something that allowed people a fantastic alternative to the awful government-protected taxi services? Are we all worse off because the CEO of Home Depot is a multimillionaire? Or do we benefit from the products that Home Depot sells? Are we all worse off because Andrew Mason, the founder of Groupon, is worth $200 million? Does that affect in any way the quality of your life? Or do you actually save money from the service this multimillionaire provided? Until he was fired from Groupon, of course. But Groupon is a funny example because the founder became rich off of a company that actually made everyone else a little bit richer too. If you use Groupon, that $20 bill in your pocket will go further and buy you more goods and services. And that is the principle I am talking about here. Outside of government leeches that became rich by parasitically attaching themselves to government, I'm looking at you, General Electric, desperately begging the government for a contract to build a jet engine that not even the government wanted. Shameful. But besides that, when someone else gets rich, you don't lose. It's not a zero-sum game. One person does not benefit only by making someone else lose in an equal fashion. In fact, them getting rich means that people within society voluntarily gave them money to acquire something that makes them better off. It is a classic win-win situation. It is very simple to understand. Another point is that Bernie Sanders seems to only be viewing the world through the lens of pure dollar bills and the distribution thereof. That's the only thing he seems to ever take into consideration. He is not taking into consideration the material wealth owned by the average person today, the technology readily available to the average person today, the tech-oriented services, and the quality of life for people today that 20 years ago would have only been found in science fiction books. Let me put it this way. I would much rather be in the middle class today in 2018 than a filthy rich person from just 20 years ago in 1998. A millionaire 20 years ago wouldn't be able to use FaceTime with almost anyone on the planet, rich or poor. A millionaire from 20 years ago wouldn't benefit from eBay, Amazon, or Craigslist. A millionaire from 20 years ago wouldn't be able to use the GPS service that plenty of private companies provide today, where you can be in a strange city you've never been in and know exactly where to go. I mean, there was GPS back then, but it was awful. A millionaire back then wouldn't possibly be able to get the phone that you've probably got in your pocket right now. A millionaire from 20 years ago wouldn't be able to have their children utilize the educational technology that the average person can use today. A millionaire from 20 years ago couldn't stand on the street and on a whim have every restaurant in a vicinity of their choosing listed out with all the reviews to see where they might want to eat. And not just restaurants, pretty much any other type of business too. But alright, I will stop here because I could keep this list going on for a very long time, and eventually I'm sure you would get bored. So I am just wondering what Bernie Sanders would say to this. I wonder if he really believes that just because someone is rich, they have somehow taken an equal amount of wealth away from society. I wonder if he realizes that many of the rich people he demonizes have actually made society as a whole richer and capable of far more. But for now, I'll leave it there. Thank you.